Incredible discovery. Heartwarming encounter with a millionaire unlocks 17-year-old girl's life-changing journey. In the small, familiar streets of Maplewood, a 16-year-old girl named Sarah had lived her entire life under a cloud of dreams and self-doubt. Despite the whispers and giggles echoing through the halls of Maplewood High, where her peers flaunted wealth that shimmered like gold, Sarah found refuge in her art. Each brushstroke was a release, a secret diary of colors and shapes that spoke the words her heart dared not utter. But the weight of family struggles often turned her vibrant dreams into whispers of despair. Would she ever escape the shadow of financial insecurity looming over her? Every afternoon, Sarah took refuge at the Maplewood Community Center. There, she taught art to younger kids, showering them with the encouragement she yearned for herself. She smiled, painted lessons in hand, keeping her dreams tucked away like an untold story. Holding classes felt fulfilling. Children's laughter filled the air, their excitement infectious. Yet, when Sarah gazed around at the bustling center, surrounded by the privilege of her peers, resentment would creep up gently at her heart. That fateful evening, the community center held an art showcase. Families gathered, and the walls glowed with a spectrum of heartfelt creations. Sarah stood proud, her tiny students by her side, explaining their masterpieces to wide-eyed parents and eager friends. In the corner, Mr. Thompson, the town's elusive millionaire, observed. Intrigued by the sheer passion radiating from Sarah, he approached her. The moment their eyes met, it felt electric. "Your students are incredible," Mr. Thompson said, a genuine warmth behind his words. As if magic had ignited, Sarah's eyes sparkled. She shared stories of each child's creativity, unaware that she was captivating a man who had climbed mountains of hardship to reach his success. After what felt like a lifetime of conversation, Mr. Thompson leaned closer. "I'd like to offer you mentorship. There's a prestigious art scholarship you deserve to chase." Her heart soared like a kite in the summer wind. Could this truly be happening? Yet, when she reached home and shared the news, her joy crumbled under the weight of fear in her parents' eyes. "Art isn't practical, Sarah," her mother lamented, a tightness in her voice that echoed the limits of their fragile life. Her father turned away, the silence thick with unspoken words. Days passed and whispers swirled through Maplewood High. "Did you hear about Sarah?" they said. "She's so lucky." Someone even smirked, eyes narrowed. Little did they know the storms swirling in her heart. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the scholarship announcement loomed closer, Sarah battled her spiraling self-doubt. The walls she built around her emotions crumbled as betrayal struck from an unexpected source, a close friend turned rival. She felt her heart sink, the rawness of need and hurt culminating in a bittersweet cocktail of pain. Standing at the center of her crumbling world, Sarah felt as if the eyes of the whole town were upon her, judging, whispering. She could choose to bite her tongue, to let her dreams slip silently away, or rise, stubborn and defiant, against the chains that bound her spirit. The moment hung heavy, the air thick with unresolved conflict, and with every beat of her heart, she knew something had to give. Would she break under it all or bloom into everything she ever desired? The morning light filtered through the flimsy curtains of Sarah's room, illuminating the scattered pages of sketchbooks and half-finished drawings that cluttered her desk. Today, the scholarship announcement would be made at Maplewood High. Anxiety twisted her stomach, a tempest of anticipation and fear. Would she take a step towards her dreams, or see them burst like a fragile bubble? As she dressed, each garment felt heavy, weighed down by the doubts clinging to her like shadows. What if Mr. Thompson's faith in her was misplaced? What if she failed and everyone saw? The thought pricked at her, sending a shiver through her spine. Struggling to shake off the unease, she stared into the mirror, trying to muster a smile. "You've got this, Sarah," she whispered, yet the words sounded hollow. At school, the hallways bustled, laughter and chatter creating a chaotic symphony. Sarah steered clear of the clusters of students gossiping about the scholarship. The whispers made her skin crawl. As she approached the auditorium, the sense of dread only intensified. Her heart raced, hammering like a drum in her chest as she slipped into a seat at the back. Inside, the principal's voice rang out, welcoming everyone to the big announcement. Sarah fought to keep her focus, but the envy in her friend's eyes lingered in her mind. She shouldn't have to compete against someone she cared about. Today, we are pleased to present the Maplewood Arts Scholarship, the principal announced, and for a moment, the world went silent. And the recipient for this year is Sarah Jenkins. Gasps rippled through the auditorium. Minimized whispers turned to stares, and there it was, the spotlight she had both dreamed of and dreaded. Sarah's heart stuttered, disbelief washing over her. As she made her way up to the stage, her body felt disconnected, floating above the ground. This was it. A second chance not just for her dreams, but a hope for her future. When she reached the podium, her palms were sweaty against the cold wood. She took a deep breath, scanning the crowd for Mr. Thompson. Caught in the sea of familiar faces, she spotted him, a faint grin on his lips, pride shining from his eyes. "You can do this," she told herself, and as her courage flickered back, she spoke. "Thank you for this opportunity," Sarah began, her voice shaky yet resolute. "Art saved me. It's my way of expressing what I can't say with words. If I can help just one person find their voice through creativity," then she paused, gathering strength. "Then everything will be worth it." The applause was overwhelming. She could barely hear it, lost in a whirlwind of emotions: relief, joy, vulnerability. As she stepped down from the stage, a mix of an excited pulse and raw fear coursed through her veins. She'd done it. But suddenly, the sense of triumph began to fade as reality set in. After the ceremony, as friends rallied around her with congratulations, Sarah's gaze drifted. She wasn't ready to face her friend, the one who felt more like an enemy now, the one who had chosen silence over support as her choice cut deeper. Before she could spiral further into doubt, her phone buzzed. It was Mr. Thompson. "Meet me at the cafe after school," he wrote. The butterflies in her stomach fluttered wildly. What did he want to discuss? As classes dragged on, Sarah's mind raced, tangled with possibilities. What could he have in store for her? And could that fragile balance she had achieved stand against the storm approaching her? Adrenaline coursed through her as the final bell rang. Sarah stood, poised between hope and uncertainty. Would she find the acceptance she sought in herself, or would she stumble once again? As she walked toward the cafe, she couldn't shake the feeling that this meeting might change everything. The door swung open, revealing Mr. Thompson's warm smile. "Ready for your next step, Sarah?" he asked, his eyes gleaming with certainty. Suddenly, a chill swept through her, and she knew whatever lay ahead might reshape her destiny. What would she discover next? The cafe was buzzing with chatter, and the aroma of freshly brewed coffee hung thick in the air. As Sarah stepped inside, the warmth washed over her, easing the chill. She spotted Mr. Thompson seated at a corner table, his usual enthusiasm radiating from him like sunshine. His presence stirred a mix of anticipation and anxiety within her. "Hey, Sarah. Come on over," he called, waving her to join him. His smile was infectious, but she felt a twinge of unease as she slid into the chair across from him. "Thank you for meeting me," she said, trying to keep her voice steady. "Of course. I wouldn't miss this for the world," he replied, leaning in slightly. "You've just accomplished something incredible, and I want to help you take the next steps." She took a deep breath. "What do you mean?" Mr. Thompson paused, allowing his gaze to drift outside the window for a moment, as if gathering his thoughts. "You know, Sarah, receiving that scholarship is just the beginning. There are opportunities out there that you haven't even considered." Her heart raced. "Like what?" "Internships, mentorships, even summer programs in art schools. Some of my past students have gone on to study at places like RSD or Pratt. You could do that too." Excitement buzzed in her veins, but doubt crept back in. "But what if I'm not good enough?" What if I mess up? Everyone starts somewhere, Mr. Thompson said firmly, his eyes locking onto hers. The difference is how you move forward after a setback. It's about resilience. Sarah wrapped her fingers around her coffee cup, warmth seeping into her chill. She had lost herself in doubt for so long, unsure of her path. But hearing Mr. Thompson so confident sparked something inside her. So, where do we start? First, let us look at your portfolio, he suggested. We can refine your best work and present it to some local galleries. You need to get your stuff out there, Sarah. The world needs to see your talent. A rush of optimism surged. You really think I can? I know you can, he replied with sincerity. But it all starts with believing in yourself. You have to embrace your creativity with your full heart. Just as the weight of his words settled into her mind, the cafe door opened, letting in a rush of crisp air and a familiar voice. Sarah turned, her heart sinking. It was her friend, Melissa, accompanied by a couple of others from school. They spotted her at the table, and for a moment, their eyes met. Melissa's expression flickered a brief mixture of surprise and something else, maybe shame? Sarah couldn't tell. The swirling emotions in the room turned thick and tense. She was caught between the warmth from Mr. Thompson and the piercing gaze of her friend. Sarah, we were just talking about you, Melissa said, her tone unsure. Congratulations on the scholarship. Thanks, Sarah replied, her voice quieter, almost swallowed by the tension. This wasn't how she imagined this moment would go. Mr. Thompson stood up, breaking the awkwardness. Wonderful to see you, Melissa. I was just discussing Sarah's exciting opportunities ahead. It's going to be a transformative journey. Right, yeah, Melissa replied, fidgeting with her hair. I heard about the gallery and stuff. The regret was evident, but the damage had already been done. The distance with her friend felt unbridgeable now. Sarah looked at Mr. Thompson, then at Melissa. What would she choose? Would she let fear dictate her path, or would she step into the light of possibility? As the uncertainty clung to her, she felt the stakes rising. Should she confront the tension or focus on her aspirations? The moment stretched before her. Sarah, Mr. Thompson's voice broke through the haze. It's time to make your move. With the eyes of her past and future upon her, Sarah took a deep breath. The next step would decide everything. What would she say next? Melissa, I'm glad you're here, Sarah said, surprising even herself with the steadiness of her voice. She felt a wave of determination surge through her. I want you to know how much this scholarship means to me. It's a chance to really go after what I've always wanted. Melissa's cheeks flushed pink, and she shifted uncomfortably. I wasn't sure how to react. I mean, things have been different between us. I know, Sarah replied quietly. But I don't want our past to hold me back. This is a big opportunity, and I can't afford to let fear or confusion stop me. Mr. Thompson, sensing the weight of their conversation, leaned back, allowing the moment to unfold naturally. He sipped his coffee, watching the dynamic shift between the two girls. I'm sorry if it felt like I wasn't supportive, Melissa admitted, her voice softening. I guess I wasn't ready to see you move forward while I'm still feeling stuck. Sarah's heart ached. You don't have to feel that way. We're friends, and I want us both to succeed. I believe in you, too. A flicker of hope lit up Melissa's eyes, and for the first time since they locked gazes, the heaviness began to lift. I just didn't know how to show it. I thought you were going to leave us behind. I would never do that, Sarah reassured her. I want us to grow together, not apart. We could even work on our art projects together, support each other through this. Melissa nodded slowly. I'd like that. The tension in the air shifted, replaced with something lighter, filled with the echoes of laughter shared in the past. As Sarah caught Mr. Thompson's approving smile, relief washed over her, easing the tightness in her chest. See, this is what I'm talking about, he interjected, his voice warm. Art is about connection and collaboration. You two can lead each other to new heights. Melissa's smile broadened, the regret from earlier melting away. "I'd love to help you with your portfolio, Sarah. We can brainstorm ideas and make it shine." "Really?" Sarah felt a grin spread across her face. "Maybe everything would be okay." "Yes. And if you're serious about those galleries, I'll help you get organized," Melissa replied, her enthusiasm building. "Let us present your best work together." Mr. Thompson clapped his hands lightly, breaking their moment. "That's the spirit. Now, let us talk about what to include in that portfolio. Sarah, what are you most proud of?" As they dove into a conversation filled with passion and ideas, the cafe buzzed around them. Sarah felt as though she was on the edge of a new beginning. She was surrounded by support and potential, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of belonging. Yet, just as momentum surged, that familiar feeling of doubt tugged at the edge of her mind. What if her work wasn't good enough? What if the galleries weren't interested? She glanced at Mr. Thompson and Melissa, who were now mapping out her vision excitedly. "Sarah," Mr. Thompson said, noticing her hesitation. "Remember, you didn't get that scholarship by accident. You have talent. You have something to say through your art, and the world needs to hear it." Taking a deep breath, she nodded, determination flickering in her chest. "Okay, let us do this." But before they could delve deeper, Melissa's phone buzzed continuously on the table, breaking the momentary spell. "Hold on, I've got to take this," she said, picking it up and glancing at the screen. The moment she read the text, her expression fell, revealing a shadow of concern. "What's wrong?" Sarah asked, suddenly aware that this new moment could change everything. Melissa hesitated, the phone still clutched tightly. "It's about my family. I need to figure something out," she replied, her tone shifting once more. "Do you want to talk about it?" Sarah offered, her heart racing with empathy. As Melissa's eyes looked troubled, Sarah felt the room shift again. Would they be able to navigate this new hurdle together, or would it fracture the bond they had just begun to rebuild? The air thickened with tension, and Sarah knew they had come too far to falter now. What would she choose to do next? Melissa stared at her phone, the light casting an unsettling glow on her face. Sarah watched her friend's expression shift from concern to something darker. "What is it?" she repeated, her voice a whisper now. Melissa gulped. "It's my dad. He hasn't been well, and I think they're going to have to make some decisions soon." Her voice quivered slightly, betraying the strength she desperately wanted to show. The mention of family brought an uncomfortable weight into the room. Sarah felt her stomach twist. This isn't just a casual conversation anymore. This was real, raw life slapping them both in the face. "I'm sorry, Melissa. Do you want to go home?" "I can come with you, if you need support," Sarah suggested, her heart racing with worry. "No," Melissa said too quickly, as if pushing the thought away. "I'm okay." "Well, not okay, but I'll figure it out." She set the phone down, running her fingers through her hair. I don't want to drag you into this. You've already taken so much of a leap with the scholarship and everything." "But I want to be there for you," Sarah replied, her voice firm. "We're a team, remember? If we can tackle art projects together, we can handle this too." Melissa bit her lower lip, an indication of how torn she felt. "I don't want to burden you with my problems. I just got excited about helping you, and now this. What kind of friends would we be if we didn't lean on each other?" Sarah pressed. "I mean, would want to know if you were having a tough time, right?" Mr. Thompson cleared his throat gently, breaking into their moment. "Sometimes, offering support is an act of strength, not a burden." He leaned forward, a genuine expression on his face. "You both have the power to lift each other up. Remember that it's okay to be vulnerable." Melissa glanced at him, then back to Sarah, only this time, her eyes glimmered with unshed tears. "You're right," she said finally. "I don't want to hold back anymore. I want to share this." In that moment, Sarah saw that spark of connection rekindle between them. Whatever darkness loomed in Melissa's world, they could face it together. But even as Melissa began to share, the atmosphere in the cafe shifted. Outside, dark clouds gathered, casting a shadow across the world outside. I just wish I knew how this all would end, Melissa continued, her voice cracking slightly. Sarah reached across the table, squeezing her hand. And then it happened like something out of a movie. An unexpected presence entered the cafe. A tall figure, dressed casually in a designer jacket and carrying an expensive-looking camera, stepped in, shaking raindrops from his hair. The energy in the room shifted as he walked toward them. "Excuse me," he said, his voice smooth, catching the attention of Mr. Thompson first. "I couldn't help but overhear your discussion. Are you two pursuing art?" Sarah's heart skipped a beat. Who was this guy? He looked like someone right out of a magazine. "Yes, we are," Sarah managed to say, glancing at Melissa, whose mouth had dropped open slightly in surprise that he smiled, and something in that smile lit a fire of curiosity and hope within them both. "I might have a project you'd be interested in." The possibilities spiraled in Sarah's mind. Was this the breakthrough she never anticipated? Or would this be another fleeting moment in a world filled with uncertainty? As the rain began to pour outside, the storm brewing inside felt so much larger. What would they decide next? The tall figure leaned in closer, his camera slung casually over one shoulder. "My name is Jake," he said, his hazel eyes dancing with enthusiasm. "I'm a photographer, and I work on projects that highlight emerging artists. I think you two have a true talent, and I'd love to collaborate." Melissa and Sarah exchanged wide eyes. A collaboration? With a real photographer? It felt surreal, the kind of moment you daydream about in quiet corners, far away from the noise of life. "What kind of project?" Melissa finally managed to ask, her voice steadying as curiosity began to take over her worry. "Well," Jake said, "I'm launching a series that tells the stories behind the art, how personal experiences shape creativity. I believe your friendship, your struggles, and your art can create something powerful together." He adjusted his camera slightly, as if already framing the scene. Melissa's heart raced. The idea of using her emotion, her situation, to create art was both exhilarating and terrifying. Could she really expose herself like that? But the spark in Sarah's eyes encouraged her. "Sounds incredible," Sarah exclaimed, her excitement bubbling over. "We'd love the opportunity." Jake grinned, clearly pleased. "Great. I have a small studio that I use for shoots. We could start this weekend if that works for you both." The thought of a weekend spent doing something meaningful chased away the dark clouds hovering in Melissa's mind. However, a shadow flickered across her face as reality crashed in. "I don't know if I'm ready," she admitted, biting her lip. "With everything happening with my dad, then let us do it for him," Sarah suggested, placing a gentle hand on Melissa's. "Art can be healing. It doesn't have to be perfect or complete. We'll create something that honors your journey." Jake nodded. "Exactly. It's about the process, not just the end result. You both have a story worth sharing." His passion was palpable, injecting a much-needed energy into their conversation. As they began discussing ideas, the cafe melted into the backdrop of their vibrant thoughts. Suddenly, everything else faded away. The worries, the fears, and the impending decisions about Melissa's father shifted to the side, replaced by sparkles of hope and possibility. Yet, even as Melissa laughed and tossed ideas back and forth with Sarah and Jake, a heaviness tugged at her heart. What if it's too much? She questioned, her normally lively tone now tinged with solemnity. Jake leaned closer, visually locked in on her. "It may be hard at first, but creativity can transform pain into passion. And sharing art can connect people in ways you may not even expect. You're not alone in this." Melissa took a deep breath, letting his words settle. Maybe, just maybe, this project could be her way to cope and to express all that was bottled inside. With that thought came a faint flicker of light. The moment melted into a comfortable silence, leaving only the rhythmic sound of rain tapping against the window. It was a strange comfort. The storm outside mirrored the chaos within her. She felt a sudden craving for clarity, a desperate need to step forward. "All right, I'm in," Melissa finally announced, determination settling in her chest. "Let us do this. Let us create something together." Just then, the cafe's door burst open again with a gust of wind, sending a rush of cool air into the warm atmosphere. An old woman hurried in, shaking off her umbrella. She glanced around, searching for a seat but paused, staring at the trio with an understanding gaze. "Is this where the art dreams start?" She smiled softly, her eyes twinkling like stars. "Yes," Sarah called out, waving her over. "Come join us. We're working on something special." The woman approached, her aura radiating wisdom. "Ah, creativity mixed with collaboration, there's magic in that," she replied knowingly as she took a seat. Melissa's heart swelled. This was a small moment, but it felt monumental. The storm outside faded into the background. This was a new beginning, but amid the warmth of connection, uncertainty lingered. What would they uncover through their art? And could they truly navigate the path ahead together? As their conversation deepened, a question hung in the air, ripe with potential. What stories lay within them, waiting to be told? With the rain tapping persistently against the cafe window, Melissa felt a strange mix of hope and anxiety. The old woman settled into the seat next to theirs, her presence both calming and curious. "What are you creating?" the woman asked, leaning forward with genuine interest. Jake smiled, ready to share their plan. "We're starting a project that explores the backstories of art. Melissa and Sarah here have incredible experiences to share, and I believe their art can resonate deeply with others." The woman nodded, her gaze piercing yet comforting. "Art is a powerful communicator. It allows us to find common ground in our experiences, no matter how different we may seem. What is your story, young one?" She turned toward Melissa. Melissa hesitated. She had spent so long keeping her feelings bottled up. My father is sick. I've been struggling trying to create while dealing with everything else. I'm scared to put all that into my art." The woman reached out, her hand warm and reassuring. "Fear can be a heavy burden. But sharing your truth through your art might just lighten that load. It could inspire others who face similar battles." Melissa looked at Sarah, who offered an encouraging nod. What if the old woman was right? What if putting her pain into art could help her heal? "I want to honor him," she finally said, her voice steadying. "I want my art to reflect what I'm feeling, even if it scares me." "That's the spirit," Jake said, excitement sparkling in his eyes. "It's about authenticity. Let that inner struggle guide you." The old woman smiled knowingly. "Art finds its way through the cracks of our lives, through the moments of joy and sorrow. Don't be afraid to let it out." Sarah chimed in, "We can capture moments, our laughter, our tears, everything. It's more than just images, it's a journey." Melissa found herself feeling lighter amidst their shared enthusiasm. As the rain poured outside, she felt an unexpected warmth growing within her. "Let us brainstorm right now," Jake suggested, pulling out a notepad. "What images pop into your mind that reflect your father and the journey you're on?" Melissa closed her eyes, letting thoughts wash over her. "A tree, a strong oak in a storm," she said, her voice growing stronger. "It's standing tall but swaying in the wind. That's how I feel." Jake jotted it down, his excitement infectious. "Perfect. Trees symbolize strength and resilience. We can use that as a central theme." The room buzzed with inspiration, fueled by shared energy. The old woman leaned back, practically glowing with warmth, as they continued bouncing ideas off one another. But as the conversation flowed, a knot tightened in Melissa's stomach, a sudden wave of reality crashing over her. "What if I can't do it?" she whispered, a flicker of doubt creeping in. Jake met her gaze, unyielding. "You can. The fear will always be there, but it's how you push through it that matters. Trust yourself, Melissa." Just as she seemed ready to embrace his encouragement, the cafe door swung open again, and a figure walked in. Strikingly tall, with an air of confidence, he commanded the room's attention. Shadows of curiosity crept into Melissa's heart. Who was this man, and how would he fit into their growing story? As he approached their table, Melissa felt her breath catch. "What are you all up to?" he asked, his eyes glinting with intrigue. The moment felt electric, a crackling change in the air that made Melissa's heart race. Could this be another twist in their journey? What new paths lay before them now? Melissa felt her cheeks flush as the stranger approached, his presence flooding the small cafe with an unexpected energy. She exchanged quick glances with Sarah, who seemed equally taken aback. Jake, however, wore a broad grin, as if this interruption was precisely what they needed. The man pulled a chair from a nearby table and sat down, his posture relaxed yet commanding. His dark hair fell slightly over his forehead, and there was a hint of a smile playing at the corners of his lips. "Well, what's the buzz here?" he repeated, his curiosity palpable. Jake leaned forward, eager to answer. "We're brainstorming a project focused on art and personal stories. I believe art can unite us, even in our struggles." The man nodded, seemingly impressed. "Art is the heartbeat of human connection, after all. I've seen how creativity can unlock doors in ways we never expect. Each piece tells a story, right?" Melissa's heart fluttered. This man understood. She took a breath and mustered her courage. "We're trying to channel our personal experiences into our art. I want mine to honor my dad, to capture the fight we're both facing." His expression softened, and he leaned backward in his chair. "That's powerful," he said. "Grief can be like a storm. It pushes and pulls, just like that oak tree you mentioned." Jake winked at Melissa, and she felt a small spark of hope. She was glad to have shared, even just a little. As the man continued to speak, Melissa found herself hanging on his words. "I'm Alex, by the way," he said, extending his hand first to Jake and then to Melissa and Sarah. "How about I join you for a bit? I'd love to hear more about your ideas." Sarah smiled widely. "We'd love that." The conversation flowed seamlessly, like warm honey. They shared ideas about art, family, and resilience. Alex opened up about his own experiences with loss, how it reshaped his life and influenced his career. His honesty resonated deeply with Melissa. It felt real, tangible. "I know it's hard," he said, his gaze steady. "But what you're doing, using your art as an outlet to process pain, is extraordinary. You're not just creating, you're healing." For the first time in a long while, Melissa felt seen. She started to wonder if she could truly embrace the power of her emotions, if letting them into her art could be both therapeutic and transformative. As laughter mingled with serious conversations, the rain outside began to slow. The atmosphere inside the cafe lightened, and Melissa felt the warmth of connection weave around them like a blanket. Just as she felt she might take the next step on her journey, Alex leaned closer, lowering his voice. "You know, I have connections in the art world. If you're interested, I could help you showcase your work." Melissa's heart raced. It felt too good to be true. Would she really have the chance to share her truth with a wider audience? But another part of her hesitated, caught between excitement and fear. "What if I fail?" she blurted out, insecurity creeping back in. "You won, Alex said gently, locking eyes with her. "Failure is part of the process. It's about taking the leap, Melissa. Don't let fear chain you down." In that moment, she felt a crack within her, a tiny beam of light shining through. She had so much to explore, so many barriers to break. As they continued to talk, a plan began to form, glimmering in the midst of uncertainty. But the storm of doubt still loomed overhead, threatening to overshadow her newfound hope. Just then, the cafe door swung open again, this time more dramatically. In walked another figure, drenched and frantic, looking as if they were searching for someone. With a raised eyebrow, the newcomer scanned the room, locking eyes with Melissa. Was this yet another wave in her journey? What did the next twist bring? Melissa's breath caught as the drenched figure stepped closer. The stranger, a girl about her age, stood wide-eyed and clearly out of breath. Rainwater dripped from her short, curly hair, and her clothes clung to her as if she had just run a marathon. There was a sense of urgency in her eyes that both intrigued and alarmed Melissa. "Is there anyone named Jake here?" the girl asked, her voice shaky but determined. Jake, seated beside Melissa, straightened up. "That's me." "What's wrong?" The girl rushed to their table, her gaze darting nervously between them. "You don't know me, but I've been looking for you. I think you can help me." Melissa felt a jolt of confusion, intertwined with curiosity. The connection to Jake only added to the intensity. Was this some bizarre coincidence, or was there a deeper thread tying them all together? "What do you mean?" Jake asked, concern etching his brow. "My name's Clara," she said, barely managing to keep her voice steady. "I need your help with a project, something personal. I've seen your posts online about your art. And I think you could understand what I'm going through." Melissa exchanged glances with Alex, who looked equally curious yet supportive. She wondered how this new connection could unfold. Clara's desperation painted a picture of something profound lingering just beneath the surface. "What kind of project?" Jake pressed, leaning in closer. "It's about my brother," Clara revealed, her voice breaking slightly. "He's been in and out of hospitals for a while now, and I want to create something to honor him, to show what he's going through. Something that'll make people feel like how your art does." Melissa's heart twisted at the weight of Clara's words. She felt a deep resonance within herself, recalling her own father's battle. This was more than just a shared interest in art, it was a connection forged by pain and hope. "I can help you," she said before she even realized she had spoken. The words flowed out, carrying an unexpected determination. "We can work on something together." Clara's eyes widened in gratitude, and Melissa felt lighter. Maybe this was what she needed, a chance to dive deeper into her art through someone else's story. With a nod from Jake and an encouraging smile from Alex, Clara began to tell them more about her brother, his favorite things, the struggles they faced, and the moments of joy that shone through even in dark times. The cafe, once buzzing with laughter and casual chatter, now felt uniquely intimate, a sacred space for stories of resilience. As Clara spoke, Melissa envisioned how they could blend their ideas, Clara providing the raw emotion and personal touch while Melissa added her experience and artistic vision. "I have some sketches I've been working on," Melissa offered, feeling excitement rush through her. "We could bring them to life together." "Yes!" Clara exclaimed, her face lighting up. "That would mean the world to me. I just want to create something beautiful, something that could maybe help someone else feel less alone." With each exchanged smile and enthusiastic nod, the foundation of a new partnership took shape amidst the cafe's warm light. Yet deep down, Melissa felt the lingering shadow of her own fears creeping back in. What if this project went awry? What if her own emotions overwhelmed her again? Just then, Alex leaned in, breaking her from her thoughts. "You've got this, Melissa." There's strength in vulnerability. But at that moment, Clara's phone buzzed, pulling her back to reality. She glanced at the screen, her expression shifting to one of alarm. "Oh no, I need to go. I have to get back to my brother. But can we meet again tomorrow? I want to start this right away." As Clara dashed out of the cafe, Melissa felt a swirl of emotions: hope, fear, and the thrill of possibility. Would this new project with Clara help her face her own struggles? In that instant, just as inspiration began to blossom, another wave of doubt washed over her. How would they turn their combined pain into something beautiful? Melissa's heart raced, and a thought lingered, heavy on her mind. What if the act of creating meant confronting her worst fears head-on? The door swung closed, leaving a heavy silence in its wake. It was a silence filled with uncertainty and fluttering anticipation. Melissa took a breath and turned toward her friends, her mind racing with questions. What if this is my chance? In the days that followed, Sarah and Melissa dedicated themselves to their new project with Clara. They met in the cafe each afternoon, sketching, brainstorming, and pouring their hearts out into their art. What began as tentative conversations transformed into fiery discussions about their emotions: fear, hope, love, and everything in between. The warmth of creativity wrapped around them like a cozy quilt, chasing away the lingering doubts. With each brushstroke and sketch, Melissa felt her fears begin to melt away. She found herself channeling her struggles into the art they were creating together. The trees she had envisioned stood tall in their centerpiece design, symbolizing strength through the challenges they faced. Clara added delicate details about her brother, infusing life into their collaborative piece. It was more than just art, it was a healing journey. As they worked, laughter filled the air, memories flickered like fireflies, and moments of vulnerability drew them closer together. They shared stories of their families, their dreams, and how they each battled their own storms. Each stroke on canvas became a testament to the resilience of their spirits, a celebration of their intertwined journeys. One afternoon, as clouds gathered outside and rain began to patter against the cafe windows, Sarah glanced up from her sketchbook and caught Melissa's eye. "Can you believe how far we've come?" she asked, a reflective smile forming on her lips. "I never thought I could feel this alive," Melissa replied, unable to hide the spark of joy in her voice. "Art has connected us in a way I never expected." "Exactly," Clara added, her enthusiasm bubbling over. "And it's just the beginning. I can't wait to see how it all turns out." The more they embraced their stories, the stronger their bond became. One rainy afternoon, they decided to venture outside for inspiration, soaking in the vibrant colors of the dreary day. The trees stood solemn, their leaves dripping with rain, yet somehow still beautiful just like their own lives. The metaphor struck them all at once. "Life is like this tree," Melissa suddenly exclaimed, the realization painting her voice with excitement. "It's strong, but it sways and bends with the wind. Just like us." "Exactly," Sarah echoed, her eyes glistening with understanding. "Sometimes we feel like we're about to break, but together we can help each other stay rooted." As the days melded into weeks and their project developed, something incredible happened. They secured an exhibition space at the Maplewood Community Center. Mr. Thompson had helped them reach out to the community, and families were eager to see the heartfelt art that emerged from their shared experiences. The night of the exhibition arrived, and the community center glowed with soft lights as people filtered in. Hearts thumping, nerves buzzing, the trio stood together at the entrance, ready to unveil their work to the world for the first time. When the doors swung open, Sarah's heart swelled with pride as she saw familiar faces, her family, friends, and even those who once doubted her. It was a moment of acceptance, and she felt all her fears wash away. As people stood before their artwork, the tree became a focal point that spoke of resilience, family, and connection. Clara's brother watched on FaceTime from the hospital, smiling wide. It was as if the distance melted, and love connected them all through art. Standing together, hands intertwined, Sarah and Melissa shared a look that spoke volumes: gratitude, accomplishment, and a newfound sense of purpose. They had transformed their hardship into a source of strength, and their friendship into an unbreakable bond. As the night wore on, Jake arrived with news that made them all gasp. "I've been in touch with some local galleries and they're interested in showcasing your work next month," he announced, excitement radiating from his every word. "Are you serious?" Clara asked, her eyes sparkling. "I am. You both have something special. This community needs artists like you." That single moment sparked something uncontainable. They cheered, hugging one another tightly, feeling the weight of all their worries fade into joyous laughter. They realized this journey was just the beginning. The struggles didn't define them, their resilience, creativity, and newfound friendship did. As they wrapped up the night, Sarah looked around at the smiling faces before her. Every smile whispered a promise that they would rise together. "Let us not just create art, let us inspire," she said, her voice steadier now. "Absolutely," Melissa replied with a radiant smile. "This is our story, and it's only getting started." Together, they stepped forward into the world with open hearts, ready to embrace the opportunities ahead, and just like that, the storm cloud that once hung over them dissipated, revealing the bright, radiant sky that awaited them. You need to subscribe now to our channel so you don't miss exclusive stories like this one. This is the moment to show your support and keep the inspiration flowing. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep this community thriving. Comment below with your feelings about this ending and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this powerful transformation. Don't wait not even one more second. Let us spread the love and creativity.